In April of 8th grade, I walked into my 6th period ELA class prepared to do absolutely zero work. As I got out my computer and I pulled up Snake.io, my teacher walked in front of the class to introduce our end-of-year project. Little did I know that this project would end up being one of the hardest projects of my life. Not a test, not a quiz, not even a group project, but a scrapbook. We were assigned to make a scrapbook about ourselves. And like any project, starting is always the hardest part. As I looked down at my completely blank notebook, I had no clue on where or even how to start. I waited for a spark, something to come to mind, maybe a picture, a photo, a tradition, or even a song. But nothing felt clear enough to represent me. And that's when I realized I wasn't stuck on the project itself. I was stuck on a much bigger question. Who am I? And if it trickled down to my culture, what is my culture? How do I represent myself? And to figure that out, I had to start by looking at where I came from. Both of my parents are born and raised in Zimbabwe, so I spent a lot of time there. I have memories of basking in the beautiful sunlight while also sweating from the heat. I remember walking around my grandparents' house, feeding the chickens or feeling the red soil. But I was born in Surrey, England. And for the first 7 years of my life, I lived, ate, and breathed everything British. I did all the stereotypical things. I ate beans on toast, shepherd's pie, fish and chips. I watched Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom, Charlie and Lola, Horrid Henry, and of course I watched Peppa Pig. And even at school, every year, we sent birthday cards to Queen Elizabeth. And I spoke in a British accent, and I even listened to One Direction. And I didn't quite like tea. I actually much preferred juice. Even at school, we wore uniforms. During the summer, we wore dresses, while during the winter, we wore skirts and pants. And at school, we played rugby. We didn't play basketball or soccer. We played rugby and cricket, which I was equally as terrible at as I am at basketball and soccer. I saw the same people every day, and I had the exact same day-to-day routines. But all of that changed when my family and I moved 6,756 kilometers, or as we say here, 4,198 miles to Atlanta, Georgia. And as I moved, so many different things in my life changed. I had to grow accustomed to new people, new places, and new traditions and new customs. And at first I felt very overwhelmed. I mean, I had literally moved across an ocean. And all of this, I changed so many things about my life. I mean, I stopped watching Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom. I lost my accent, as you can probably tell. But a lot of this is just due to the fact that I grew up and I grew into the person that I am now. And so as I went to middle school, I started to figure out who I was. I learned more about what I liked and what I didn't like. So when I got the scrapbook assignment, I was confused. I mean, I had spent so much time figuring out who I was. Now I just needed to put it in a scrapbook. But I still have the same questions. Who am I? If it trickled down to my culture, what would my culture be? I mean, what can I use or what can I put in my scrapbook that represents me? Growing up, I was born to 2 Zimbabwean parents, so I always thought that's what my culture was, nothing more or nothing less. I thought that all the customs and the traditions and the expectations were passed down to me before I was even born. And at first I liked this, but as I got older, I mean, it felt kind of restrictive, like I was bound to one culture. I started to feel like I was stuck in a bottle. And don't get me wrong, this bottle was beautiful. I loved all the people and the places and the foods in this bottle, but I wanted to know more and see more and be more than I felt like I was or that I had to be. And that's when I came across this quote by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who said, "Culture does not make people. People make culture." And when I read this, it all sort of clicked. It finally made sense to me. I make my own culture. We all make our own culture. Culture is not just something that is inherited. It is something that we create. We take what is passed down by our ancestors, and we use it to build our own culture, something that is 100% ourselves. And when I realized this, I finally felt like I'd broken out of this glass bottle. And all the pieces created paths that I could explore. And they went into a multitude of directions. And all these tiny pieces, still intact, represented different things about me. They represented my family, my friends, and my hobbies. And I realized that all these pieces that surround me, that I was a reflection of them. And so are you. So think about it like this. Each of us is a playlist. We have songs of our past that we don't really listen to anymore, but we also have songs of our present. And we have songs of our future that we haven't even added yet. We have songs of our past that we listened to growing up at home. And all of these songs, both metaphorical and literal, make up us and who we are. I have songs that I listened to growing up at home and at family parties, like Chop My Money by P Square. But I also have songs that I listened to in primary school, like What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction and Can We Dance by the Vamps. And then I have songs I listened to in middle school, like Lover by Taylor Swift and Ready for It by Taylor Swift and Mirrorball by Taylor Swift. And if you can't tell, I really love Taylor Swift. And then I have songs that I listened to when I was a little bit older, like literally any song by Olivia Rodrigo. And then when I went to high school, I listened to a lot, and I mean a lot, of SZA. Now, all of these songs represent different things about me and who I was at different points and different times in my life. And these songs all create a playlist. And this playlist is changing with every new person I meet, every new place I go to, and every new conversation and every new day. And at the end of the day, I am a playlist that I'm constantly changing and curating. And so are you. So when I realized this, my scrapbook came together beautifully. Every sticker, every picture, and every page represented something different about me and about the person that I was, but also about the person that I am becoming. And don't worry, I left a lot of blank pages for me to fill up with new experiences and new days and new people that I will be lucky enough to meet in my life. So now I know what's in my scrapbook, but what's in yours? Thank you.